Hey everybody, John Granato from the bench, mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. AJ Hoffman from the Blitz, afternoons on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. AJ, the rumors about Deshaun Watson, I think they're real. I think that he could possibly ask for a trade. I think he's about fed up with this organization. I think it sucks, but that's a real possibility. You could get a nice haul in return, but you want to keep Deshaun Watson. Should Nick Caserio do damage control and involve him immediately in the process of hiring a coach?
That's an easy answer, absolutely. And I would have said that before Deshaun Watson started asking for a trade. To me, it just makes sense. You've got one guy here who you feel like is really a long-term part of your plans, or should feel like is a really long-term part of your plans as a player, and it happens to be at the key position. To me, it's I would almost ask Deshaun, who do you want? You go ahead and pick the guy. Here's the keys. Because making Deshaun happy at this point is really the only choice you have. You're married to him now for a while. At some point, you're going to have to start, and he's clearly not happy with the GM hiring. You're clearly going to have to make some concessions. And if it's letting him choose who he wants to be the head coach, to me, that's a slam dunk. Absolutely, you do it.
You know, I'm kind of getting intrigued with the possibility of trading Deshaun. You're getting rid of a guy that's 40 million. I mean, I think he's one of the elite. I know you're not as high on him as I am, but I've been a big proponent of Deshaun. But yet, you're going to start to get into the $40 million range after this coming year, and he's only a 3-year deal, which was a huge screw up by the organization. Another huge screw up by the organization. I'm getting intrigued with the possibility of trading for him and getting one of these young quarterbacks in this draft, even if it's Justin Fields or Zach Wilson or whomever it is. Or maybe you could trade for a Sam Darnold and get the Jets pick as well. And then that's intriguing to me. But if Deshaun wants out of here, and Deshaun isn't going to be fully in, and Deshaun doesn't trust this organization, which I don't know how he could, I wouldn't be opposed. What do you think about a possible trade for him?
I was a proponent of, I remember saying, be careful about paying Deshaun Watson top money, because this roster is so poor that once you give him that percentage of the salary cap, it's going to be very difficult to build this roster. And the Texans are really stuck in an odd spot where they have a franchise quarterback, but the rest of their roster is such a disaster that it needs a total overhaul, and it's almost impossible to do that without tons of draft capital, which they don't have, or tons of salary cap space, which they don't have. It's just a really, really awful scenario for them. Trading him, it's really hard for me to gauge what an appropriate value is on Deshaun Watson. I don't think Sam Darnold and the number 2 pick, I think Sam Darnold's worth about a 4th-round pick. So if you tell me Sam Darnold and the number 2 pick, you're basically saying the number 2 pick for Deshaun Watson.
No, you'd have to get both their 1st-round picks and Sam Darnold and possibly another 2nd-rounder on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd start listening at something like that. That suddenly starts to interest me, but it's really hard to find a value that feels like you're getting fair return, because he is truly now one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I think he's in that. He's if he's not a lock top 5, he's very fringe top 5. It's hard to find those guys. Everybody knows it, but people will pay a bounty for it if it's up for offer. But here's the thing: Deshaun also has a no trade clause, so he would have to approve really whatever trade he wants. So Deshaun really holds all the cards here. He can say, I want to be traded, and then they say, okay, we'll trade you to the Jets, and he can say, no thanks, I'm looking to be traded somewhere better.
Well, he's the one initiating it, so I think he would pass. Obviously, he would bypass that no trade clause. You're right, but he can decide. The team, I don't think the Jets would be a bad place to go, quite frankly. It depends on how much you have to give up, honestly. But what about, now, as we are taping this right now, Eric Bieniemy has not, everybody's just assuming that the Texans won't interview him. There's still a possibility that they will, but it says a lot about him that everybody else has interviewed Eric Bieniemy and the Texans haven't, and this is specifically the guy that Deshaun wants. What the hell are you telling not only your fan base, but Deshaun and everybody else that you have not gone after Eric Bieniemy?
He was widely regarded as the top candidate amongst everybody. He was the kind of the prettiest girl at the dance. And the fact that the Texans have chosen not to even reach out and ask for an interview with him is really odd to me. And the fact that they would, I mean, listen, the truth of it is there's still a Rooney Rule. You still have to interview a black coach. They decided to use it on Marvin Lewis. Coach like Lewis or Caldwell was ever going to be the head coach of the Texans. They weren't even, it was never a possibility that one of those guys would be the head coaches. Why not use that on a guy who maybe knocks it out of the park for an interview? And I guess my only thought is, I mean, Eric Bieniemy is a guy who's had some things in his past that maybe people in charge of the Texans are not thrilled about, and maybe that's why they're not looking at it, which to me is just insane.
Yeah, well, but that's the Texans organization, and that seems to stink of Jack Easterby again with Jack Easterby. We don't know, but again, it just smells. I'm tired of the smell of Jack Easterby. I'm really tired of Jack Easterby's scent on this organization, if you want to know the truth.